Good afternoon, and welcome to Sahaja Online. It's a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon here on the East Coast of North America. My name is Melanie Pundit, and I will be your instructor for this afternoon meditation session. For those of us joining for the first time, I'd like to make us all aware of our housekeeping guidelines. You will have noticed that your lines are muted. We can neither hear nor see you, but you should be able to hear and see your instructor this afternoon. If there are any distractions that might be getting in your way for this meditation session, I'd like to encourage you to turn them off. Turn off all sounds, notifications. Let everyone around you know that you'll be meditating for the next 45 minutes for this session so that you don't have any distractions that might get in your way. If you do have any questions at any point, please do take advantage of the Q&A and our chat function here on our Zoom platform, and we will have 5 minutes at the end of the session today to answer any questions that do come up. To get us started, let's look at our intro poll and look at the results of our poll today to see who we have with us here today on Sahaja Online. So from what we can see, we have a variety of levels, mostly attendees that have been with us before, so welcome back, and some that have just been for a few times. All levels are welcome, and a variety of lengths of time in practicing Sahaja, from about just over 6 months to over 2 years. So this is a wonderful series to help you ensure that you understand the basics of the Sahaja technique so that your meditation is as useful and successful as possible. And you're all here for the right reasons. All of us are here for the spiritual aspect. That's fantastic. Sahaja absolutely touches upon every single avenue, and it's really up to you to express your desire to really walk down that path of unraveling what Sahaja has to unfold, what will result out of this amazing learning experience. So thank you so much for answering those few questions. Let's look and see. Looks like I've lost our sharing. Give me just a moment. I apologize. So we get right back to our, let's see what happened there. And let's get right on back. All right. So what we're doing today is we are, just for any of us who are joining this series for the first time, just a quick overview. This is a 9-week series. We are in week 2 of our 9-week series. Last week, we talked about and experienced the first practice, the first happening within Sahaja, which is self-realization, that awakening of our inner energy. Today, we're going to just give a brief overview of our subtle system, our chakras, and our 3 channels. And in our subsequent weeks, we'll be going week by week, focusing more in depth, a good overview, I should say, of each of our 7 energy centers or chakras. So let's get right into our weekly topic, talking about our subtle system. As we learned in our self-realization experience last week, this system is comprised of 3 things. It's our inner energy, which is the fuel that makes everything work, our 3 channels, our 3 energy channels, and our 7 energy centers or chakras. Nothing works without the awakening of our inner energy or kundalini, which is situated in a dormant state in our sacrum bone at the base of the spine. So that triangular bone at the base of the spine in medical science is known as the sacrum bone. It means sacred. That energy, which is, again, we're approaching this like scientists, we're approaching it as a hypothesis. So hypothetically, this energy, which is situated in a dormant state within our sacrum bone, has this incredible potential. It's a healing energy. It's like our own individual mother. Mothers from my personal experience, from many of our experiences, love to give, love to nurture, love to take care of us. And so our inner mothering energy does just that. When we give her the opportunity to do what she is best able to do, which is cleanse, nourish, and balance our entire energy system, we do that through the process of meditation. When we step out of that driver's seat of doing what we are so good at doing, everything in our lives, that triggers our inner energy to rise out of her dormant state from the sacrum bone and cleanse and balance our energy centers and channels. Any imbalance that is present within our system, any imbalance in our chakras or in our energy channels, is cleansed through meditation. And so the wonder of Sahaja is the ability for our inner energy to take care of us, to cleanse us from the subtle state from within, so that those balanced aspects within ourselves, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, all of our strengths can manifest on the gross level. So while that inner energy awakens, when it awakens, it works within our subtle system. It works within our 3 channels, and it works within our 7 energy centers. So what are these 3 channels? We have our left channel. This is the left side of our being. So starting near the bottom of the left side of our energy system, rising up the left side of our being. And this does look like the right on your screen, that blue channel that you see, but the cartoon that you're looking at, it is the cartoon's left side. So we're talking about the left side. Rises up the left side of our being. It crosses over at the forehead to culminate on the right side of the head. We understand that the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body and vice versa. The same is true in our energy system. The right side of the brain is connected to the left energy channel. This is our moon channel. In our understanding of the yin and the yang within us, this is our yin. It's generally understood to be a more feminine channel. It's connected with the power of our pure desire, that potential within, that desire to manifest that which is good for our benevolence, for our evolution. So our pure desire and that potential energy within us. That left channel can also have imbalances. When it is in an imbalanced state, it can manifest in such things as overindulgence in emotions, focusing heavily on the past, feeling regret, feeling guilty, lack of security, lack of self-confidence, lack of self-worth. Ultimately, an extreme imbalanced left channel results in elements or full-on depression. What happens in Sahaja, as our inner energy is working to cleanse, she is releasing those imbalances, those impurities within us to establish the strengths of the left channel. So our yin. It's also our left sympathetic nervous system in medical science. So we're talking about our left and our right sympathetic nervous system. Here we are talking about now the right channel begins near the right hip, rises up the right side of the being, crosses over at the forehead, and culminates on the left side of the head. So the left side of the head connected with the right channel. This right channel is our yang. It's our sun channel. This is known to be our masculine channel within. So while our yin, or our left channel, is our potential, it's that more dormant or less active energy. Our yang, or our right channel, is absolutely that active, that sun energy. It's attached to our future, connected with our future, and it has the power of action. And so while our left channel is the potential, the desire within us that grows, the right is the ability to manifest that desire, to manifest that potential, our kinetic energy. The right channel can also be in an imbalanced state, not imbalanced, full of impurities. When the right channel is in an imbalanced state, it becomes overly aggressive, overly attached to the future, full of anxiety. The ego starts to swell and start to dominate our behavior, the way that we think, the way that we act. We are aggressive, reactive, easily triggered, easily angered, living heavily in the future, nervous or anxious about whatever future may or may not come. Those qualities are familiar to many of us, both on the left and the right, those imbalanced qualities. When our inner energy is rising up, cleansing our energy system, those imbalances, those extremes that may be present on our right or left channel reduce. Those impurities are released so that the strengths of both channels can be established. So the potential energy within us is established, the pure desire to enact that which is benevolent for our evolution, for our well-being, and for the well-being of the whole. And on the right channel, that pure desire is manifested as pure action, doing that which is benevolent for us, for our positive evolution, and for the benevolence of the whole. Our inner energy rises up the central nervous system, up the central channel, the parasympathetic nervous system. That central channel is what Buddha described as the middle path. It is the absolute balance. It is connected with the present moment, as the left is the past, the right is the future. The center channel is our presence, is our present moment. And so as that inner energy rises from the dormant state in the sacrum bone, she's rising up that central channel, establishing within the center, establishing our attention in the present moment so that we no longer live exclusively focusing on the past or exclusively focusing on the future, but able to harness our attention and focus in this present moment. It's an awareness, a state of being that many of us are not incredibly familiar with, but through the practice of Sahaja meditation, we are able to establish our ability to experience this moment right here, right now, in its fullness. Now let's talk briefly about our 7 energy centers, or chakras. Chakra simply means wheel, or wheel of energy. We have these 7 energy centers within us, which we will be talking more about week by week. Each one of them has attributes on the spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional level. Just like our 3 channels, they can be in an imbalanced state, but in a balanced state, all of the wonderful potential qualities within us become established. These 7 energy centers also correspond to the medial plexi within us. So the first energy center is corresponding to the pelvic plexus, the second, the aortic plexus, the third, the solar plexus, the 4th energy center, cardiac plexus, the 5th energy center, the cervical plexus, the 6th energy center at the center of the forehead, the pituitary glands, there's a tongue twister for you, or the optic chiasma. And this is the point where the left and the right energy center cross. And again, we'll be going through these energy centers week by week. And the 7th energy center, at the very top of the head, the point that was soft in our infancy, it's known as the fontanelle bone in medical science, which translates to mean little fountain. That fontanelle bone, or limbic area, is the 7th energy center. And as we spoke about last week in our focus on self-realization, when our inner energy rises up and culminates at the crown of the head, that happening is known as self-realization, or the yoga within us, where that which exists within us, the energy within, culminates or connects, unites with that energy which exists all around us. And we did go through this video last week, but again, for any of us that may be joining for the first time, it's wonderful to have this little visual representation of the rising of our inner energy. As we get into our meditation in just a moment, our focus is going to go within, focusing on our inner energy in the sacrum bone and beckoning her up from that dormant state, from the sacrum bone, beckoning her to rise, to do that living work, that balancing, that healing, that cleansing work as she rises from the base of the spine slowly upwards through each of our inner energy centers or chakras, balancing them, cleansing them, establishing their positive qualities, their positive attributes, and ultimately culminating at the crown of the head. This is the process of meditation, which, when enacted in the Sahaja technique, enables all of this incredible living work to take place. We'll be taking advantage again of these gestures and affirmations, which you'll find that we often use here at Sahaja Online using our right hand, focusing on various energy centers. And I will be picking and choosing from these. The intention is to help cleanse our energy centers. Using our attention, the hand is just that vehicle to express the power of our desire that our inner energy centers get cleansed. And really expressing the intention to get into that state so that we're not just moving our hands, we're not just doing empty actions, but we're expressing that intention to enable our inner energy to awaken and to do that incredible work. By focusing our attention and suspending our thoughts, focusing in the present moment, not in the past or the future, but right here, right now, where there's no thought, we are experiencing that state of thoughtless awareness. And that's the conducive state for our inner energy, our kundalini, to rise up and do this incredible work. So we're directing our attention up and over the top of the head. When we think we are focusing on the present or the past, when we think we focus on either the future or the past, but in Sahaja, we are focusing on this present moment where there's absolutely nothing to think about. So without further ado, we'll be getting into our first guided meditation. Our palms are open on our lap. This is our home position. Palms open, fingertips apart, right on our lap. We'll be closing our eyes, and I'm going to remove my glasses. There's no need to have glasses. There's nothing that we have to look at as we are bringing our focus within. So eyes closed, hands open on our laps. We begin by focusing within. As we close our eyes, we are turning off our faculty of sight for the moment. We don't need to react to anything that we are seeing. We also don't need to react to anything that we are listening to. So our sense of sound, of hearing, and also of touch are not relevant at this point. There's nothing that we need to focus on or react to as we are working towards getting into a deeper state of existence where we are not thinking. A state in which we are not reacting, but rather a state where we can open our fullest potential to create balance, to create strength, to awaken this energy within, and to establish within us our greatest potential of self. So let's start by taking our right hand and placing it on the heart on the left side. Our right hand is on the left side, just over the heart. As we are focusing within, at this level, at the heart level, let's focus on our pure self. That self which cannot be contained in any description or any form. That self which is beyond our body, beyond our mind, beyond what we see in the mirror, beyond what we can describe on paper, beyond our mental understanding. That self which we recognize with our eyes closed. Focusing within, focusing on our pure self, will silently say from our hearts, I am the pure spirit. I'm not this body, I'm not this mind. These things do not define me. I am the pure spirit. working to establish the connection between our attention, our focus, and our pure self. Disentangling our attention from all that which is superficial, all that which is transient. I am the pure spirit. We'll bring our right hand up to the left side of the neck, right hand on the left side of the neck, and turn our head to the right. In order to clear this energy center, we let go of all guilt, focusing on our past, holding on to regret or guilt for anything that may have happened in the past. It doesn't solve what has happened. It just keeps us holding on, ruminating over what has happened in an effort to resolve. Let's resolve all of that right now by silently saying from our hearts, I am not guilty for anything at all. I am not guilty. As we repeat these exercises, these gestures and affirmations, we will find that as they are repeated, we get deeper and deeper into a very pure understanding of these sentiments. It's an incredibly liberating feeling to get freed of all of our guilt. I am not guilty for anything at all. Take our right hand to our forehead, right hand across the forehead, resting our head into the palm of the right hand. Excuse me. So bend our head slightly forward to rest our head into the palm of the right hand. Here we let go of our anger, resentment, all judgments that we may be harboring against others. So without thinking of anyone in specific, but in general, using the power of forgiveness to help open up this sixth energy center. From our hearts silently, I completely forgive everyone. And I forgive myself. I completely forgive each and everyone. And I forgive myself. Ensuring that when we say these silent affirmations, that these words are expressed from our heart. They aren't just words, but they truly express the depth of the potential meaning. I completely forgive. Without exception, I forgive everyone. And I forgive myself. Let's bring our hand back to our lap. Palms open on our laps. After clearing the forehead, the sixth energy center, we may find it easier to bring our focus into that silence, the state of meditation, or the state of being in thoughtless awareness. Looking for that silent moment, that gap between our thoughts, the present moment. No thought is important right here, right now. As we meditate, there is nothing we need to think about, nothing we need to process or evaluate or prepare for. Focusing completely on this present moment, where there is nothing to think about. As we identify or experience that silence, even if it comes for just a moment, coming and going, as we experience that state of thoughtless awareness, it enables us to bring our focus above our mind. Let's take our right hand and bring it up to the top of the head and place the center of the palm on the crown of the head. Center of the palm on the spot that was soft in our infancy. We can bend our head slightly forward so that we can apply some gentle pressure, pressing the hand very gently on the crown of the head, stretching our fingers, focusing on that point where our hand meets our head. We're going to rotate the scalp, not focusing on moving our hand, but focusing on moving our scalp. Rotating that scalp in a clockwise direction. Gentle, small circles. And as we do so, we are expressing that desire that our inner energy rises up and culminates at the crown of the head, that happening of self-realization. We can repeat this exercise anytime to deepen our experience of self-realization. So as we do it, we can silently say from our hearts, either I want to experience my self-realization, or I want to deepen my self-realization. Beckoning our inner energy up with our desire to culminate at the crown of the head. Let's slowly raise our hand up an inch or so over the top of the head. If our arm is tired, we can always switch hands, just observing what we're feeling close to or farther above the top of the head. We can switch hands to compare that experience, observing by holding the palm of the hand over the crown of the head. We may observe something by holding the hand close to the head. We may feel something as we move our hand up and down on that axis, slowly moving the hand up or down from the crown of the head, focusing on the experience, on anything that we can feel close to or farther above the top of the head without thinking about it, predicting it, analyzing it, or forcing it. Just observing. In silence, with our focus in thoughtless awareness, focusing on this present moment. In the state of meditation, while we observe any sensations on the top of the head. Keeping our focus over the top of the head, we'll bring our hands back to our lap, palms open on our laps. And let's focus for a moment or two, sustaining our attention up and over the top of the head. When we meditate on our own, our goal is to get into that state where we are not thinking, not analyzing or processing information in any way, but simply existing right here, right now, without thought, focusing over the top of the head, looking for that silence between our thoughts, focusing on the silence, encouraging it to expand, and also simultaneously focusing in the palms of the hands. Let's bring the hands up off of our lap so that our palms are open in front of us. And see what we can feel in the palms of the hands, on the fingertips, or in the center of the palms, on either the right or the left hand. What are we feeling? While in the present moment with our attention, while not analyzing, in meditation, in the state of thoughtless awareness, what can we feel? Let's then check one more time over the top of the head, one hand over the crown of the head. What can we feel close to the head? What can we feel farther above? Switching hands to compare that experience. Observing the results of our experiment in meditation. With an open mind, in complete honesty, approaching ourselves in silence to honestly evaluate the results of our experience in meditation. We'll keep our focus over the top of the head as we bring our hand back down to the lap, slowly bringing our meditation to an end and opening our eyes. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and have a little poll. A couple of questions coming on your screen now. What was your experience after this first meditation, or self-realization experience, we can call it as well? Did you feel any change or not? And if you felt a change, what were those changes? Did you have less thoughts? Did you feel calmer? Were you able to focus on the present moment? Were you more relaxed? Or none of the above, no change at all? On your hands and your head, what did you feel? Anything? Nothing? Did you feel a movement of energy, warmth or pressure, tingling sensations? These are all the questions. Or cool or breeze-like sensations, or you're not sure, or you didn't feel anything at all. Just those two questions. Wonderful. All right, let's look and see what everyone felt. Great. So everyone felt something. Nobody felt nothing at all. Half of us felt less thought, so that's fantastic that our thoughts are reducing. The more that we are practicing meditation, the more that we are encouraging the experience of the anti-thought, the moment where there's no thought at all, so that we can actually be completely able to exist without thinking. We're great at thinking. Can we be great at not thinking also? Can we be great at meditating? Most of us felt calmer, most of us were able to focus on this present moment, and most of us felt more relaxed. So that's fantastic. Regarding the actual visceral experience or expression on the hands or the top of the head, a little bit of mixed reviews, not sure, maybe some movement of energy, some tingling sensations, a little bit of cool or breeze-like sensations. Great. So this is a great kind of result to look at after our first meditation. As our inner energy is rising up, our initial goal, our main goal in meditation is to be in that conducive state so that our inner energy works. Focusing up and above the top of the head, not thinking, not focusing on the past or the future, but just aware of this present moment, enabling ourselves to experience what it's like to be right here, right now, without analyzing, feeling anxious, in any kind of mental activity whatsoever. As we establish that conducive state, as we get better and better at meditating, at being in the state of thoughtless awareness for a few moments, and extending that for more moments, so that we can be in that state and not so easily get tricked or distracted out of it. As we're in that state, our inner energy is working. And as it grows, that visceral expression, feeling it on the hands, feeling it on the top of the head, that will develop. So just doing more of it is going to enable us to have more of the proof of the experience, which is in my experience, it's such an important part of it, so that it's not at all blind faith. It's not something you are expected to believe, but that it can be proven by the expression on the hands and on the top of the head. However, the irony of it all is that we can't make that happen through force. What we do to make it happen, to make it provable, to make that expression happen, is by getting more into that state of meditation, letting all of our control tendencies go, the control to think and predict and analyze and relax and react, but rather to get into the control of not thinking, the control of being focused right here, right now. So let's get into our second meditation, and we'll have a few minutes of another meditation and see what happens as we get better and better at getting into that state. So palms open, fingertips apart, eyes closed. As we get into our second meditation, we may find it easier to establish our focus in the present moment, up and above the top of the head. If we falter, if we're challenged, we can use our hand, cupping our hand in front of us, slowly raising our hand up from the base of the spine to the top of the head. And we can even gently press the palm on the top of the head, raising our inner energy, raising our attention, raising our focus, crossing the mind, crossing over the forehead and establishing our attention up and over the top of the head. As we hold our hands slightly above the top of the head, we can observe what we feel at this point, close to or farther above the top of the head. If we find ourselves thinking, we're entrenched in some kind of mental activity, ideas, thoughts, little fragments of thought are swirling around within our head, we can again take our right hand to the forehead, bending our head, resting our head into the palm of the hand, and from our hearts, without thinking of anyone in specific, in general, I completely forgive everyone. And I forgive myself. Letting all of our thoughts go. No thought matters at this moment. And then take the hand again up to the top of the head. Give the crown of the head a gentle massage, so that our focus is culminating completely united at the top of the head, that nothing else matters except for this point at the top of the head. And the existence, this energy, as it rises up, as she culminates at the top of the head, what can we feel over the top of the head? Focusing in this present moment, in between our thoughts. Focusing not on the past, not on the future, neither are relevant while we meditate, but focusing on this moment where there is absolutely nothing to think about. What can we feel over the top of the head? We can bring our hand back to the lap. See if we can sustain our attention in that gap, in that silence between our thoughts. Rather than encouraging our thoughts by reacting to them, by focusing on them, by listening to them in any way, let's listen to the silence. Let's be more aware of this moment and the silent space in between our thoughts. Focusing up and above the top of the head as we bring our hands up off of our laps once again, letting our focus rise to the top of the head or slightly above. Aware of only this moment, no thought. What can we feel in the palms of the hands while we focus over the top of the head? While we look for the silence of this present moment in between our thoughts, what can we feel on our hands? It may be very subtle, just observing the results of this experiment. And keeping that focus over the top of the head, we can bring one hand once again over the top of the head, feeling close to the crown of the head or slightly above. What can we feel as we get deeper into this meditative state of thoughtless awareness without thinking about it, without trying to understand it, just for these moments, just experiencing? The understanding can happen at another time. Right now, the experience is what's most important. What do we feel over the top of the head with one hand? We can compare with the other hand, holding the hand close to the crown of the head or moving it slightly above that point, up and down that axis. What do we feel? Keeping our focus there over the top of the head. So we bring our hand back to the lap, slowly bringing our meditation to an end and opening our eyes. So let's finally look at our experience now. Same few questions. What do we feel at this point in our meditation after the second meditation? Nothing at all? Or did we find ourselves feeling those byproducts? And how about on the visceral level? What did we feel on our hands and or on the head? What were those expressions, if any? Thank you so much for taking those few moments to answer those questions. Fantastic. Got some results coming in. Wonderful. Just a few more moments. See what our experience was after the second meditation. What we find, what research shows, is through more meditation, if we are doing it right, if we are getting better at focusing right here, right now, at this present moment, if we're doing it right, we will have greater benefits. So let's see what our benefits were. Most of us feeling calmer, most of us feeling more relaxed. Some of us not feeling anything at all, and that's okay, but we're having less thoughts. Our meditations can waver. They can be great, and then they can be challenging. It truly can be like a roller coaster until we find that sweet spot, until we find the ability to get there, where we want to get, with our attention over the top of the head. So we may have a great meditation and then not such a great one after. It can happen. But for the most part, doing it incrementally will enable us to find that ability to focus up and over the top of the head. And when we do that, when we're not faltering, the meditation experience grows. On the hands, more of us are feeling tingling or cool sensations, feeling some movement. Again, not sure if we felt anything. I would guess that if you weren't sure if you felt anything, a little bit of thought is going on. Again, faltering just a little, that's okay. It's absolutely fine. In order to get better at it, we just need to keep practicing. So I'm going to leave you with some homework today and answer the question as well that is on our screen. So last week's homework was to nurture our self-realization, to meditate on a regular basis, twice a day, mornings and evenings, practicing thoughtless awareness while we're meditating and also not in meditation, even throughout our day. Aware that we are thinking so much, which is incredibly important, focusing on the past, focusing on the future, doing everything necessary. But once in a while, when we don't have to think about the past or the future, can we just experience this moment right here, right now, in that state of thoughtless awareness? The more that we do it, the better we will get at incorporating that state into our meditation. Foot soaks in our evening meditations if we're not doing them already. As we grow in our practice, while we meditate, let's start feeling what is apparent on our hands. Once we get into that state of thoughtless awareness, just observing what can be felt on our hands while we are in the state of thoughtless awareness. And then differentiating as we can start to observe the difference between a balanced and an imbalanced state. We're not quite there, but when we are more in a balanced state, the energy on the hand is going to be lighter, cooler. It's not going to have as much pressure. When it's an imbalanced state, we're going to feel more heaviness, more weight, and more heat. Watching and observing these apparent visceral expressions of energy on the hands and on the top of the head without reacting to them, without letting them trigger us into a state of thought. And if this is a lot, just taking baby steps, just incorporating a little bit more into our meditation routine week by week. As we progress, that we are growing in our ability to bring this into our routine, to make it more successful so that we can reap all of those wonderful benefits. So a great question came in, which was, how long should we meditate? Well, in order to do everything that we're doing in our 45 minutes here, and I apologize, we're going a little bit over today, we're not able to meditate as long as it was recommended. 10 or 15 minutes in the morning, 10 or 15 minutes in the evening is a good recommended time period, so that within those 10 or 15 minutes, you're getting a couple of minutes of thoughtless awareness. You're probably initially going to have more time while you're thinking, you're not there, you're struggling a little bit, but if you carve out 10 or 15 minutes, what you'll get is 1, 2, or perhaps 3 minutes of good solid meditation. As you get better and better, the majority of that time is going to be meditation. It's going to be being in that state of thoughtless awareness. We want to let that take over, so that whatever time we're dedicating to meditation is less just sitting and thinking with our hands open, which is okay, but it's not that which we are aiming for. Less of that and more of getting into that state, which is the conducive state for our inner energy to rise up and work. If there are any other questions, go ahead and use the Q&A or chat function. If not, it's been wonderful meditating with you. I look forward to continuing this series, to learning, to enabling you to learn more about the Sahaja technique, and to really give you exactly what you need here at Sahaja Online to help you grow in your practice. Thank you so much for coming, and have a wonderful week. Take care. Bye-bye.